Hey everybody, it's Jacob here from the Story DevRel team, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to commercialize your intellectual property so that you can earn revenue from it both on-chain and off-chain. So if we look at my screen here, you can see we have the Nubcat IP. Now this is an official IP that is registered on our portal, which is basically a platform that allows you to browse, discover, license, and monetize your IP. We can see the Nubcat actually has an Instagram of 276,000 followers, and it's a lot of really cute photos, like don't worry, I'll recover, but it's all centered around this IP, which is Nubcat. And so when the owner of Nubcat registered this IP, they added a couple licenses to it. One of them is a non-commercial license. This just says, you know what, you can use this IP, but you can't commercialize it, but you can do that for free, right? They also added a commercial remix where it costs 10 IP to mint it, right? And that minting fee goes right to the owner. And on top of that, they said you can commercialize it, right, if you buy that license, but you have to pay me a certain percentage of that revenue back. And in this case, it's actually 25%. And we can actually go ahead and look at the legal code that backs this license. So again, this is a real legal agreement that is attached to the Nubcat IP that is upholdable in U.S. court, right? So if you were to go to court that, understands U.S. copyright law, you would be able to, uphold your license because it exists right here, right? And the terms are set for you. And so, if you want to, you can actually go to the portal yourself and click on register on story. We'll just, for example, register a new IP. I'll put in a dummy name here, and then I'm just going to drag in a screenshot of me and, Devrelius here having fun on a Zoom call. And we can see that, let's just skip a couple steps here. We can select commercial licenses, right? So again, you don't even have to know code to add commercial terms to your IP. You can select commercial use, commercial remix, right? And let's just say we go with the remix. We can set a minting fee of 10 IP and a 5% rev share. And if we were to, register this IP, it would be on the portal with license terms attached to it. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is walk you through what it looks like to register your own IP in code and add commercial terms to it. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be registering a song that I made on Suno. So let's listen to it. Right? It's like an AI generated sort of like house music song that I made on Suno. And so we're going to register that on Story in code. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using the TypeScript tutorial. You can go ahead. The link will be down below in the following post. And you can go ahead and clone this directly on your computer. And so I already have done that. You can see this is the project right here. And in order to get started, we can click on scripts, register or registration, and then register.ts. Now, this is a script that is already set up. If you clone the project, you will see this exact code that's already set up to register a new IP. So let's go to our terminal and run npm run register. And but I guess before you do this, once you clone it, just make sure to set your wallet private key in the .env and also set a Pinata JSON web token. You can get that by going to pinata.cloud and getting a JWT. But beyond that, all the code is set up here. And so if we actually go to our terminal, we can see if we go to this link, this is already, right, that song that I just displayed registered on our Explorer. And sometimes it takes a little bit to load, but you can see now it loads. And here's the song directly on our Explorer and some details, right? We can see there's a license here, which says a minting fee and a rev share. So how does it actually happen? Well, let's dive into the code. We can see that first we set up some basic metadata about our IP. It's called Midnight Mirage. This is the description. This is the creator info. And I also put a link to the actual audio under here, under media URL. NFT metadata is very similar. And then we upload that to IPFS so that it's stored somewhere, right? And you can store IP metadata wherever you want. It can be an IPFS. It can be your own storage solution. It doesn't matter. And then this is where we are actually registering our IP and adding terms to it. So we're using mint and register IP asset with pill terms. We are putting in some license data, right? So in this case, the terms are commercial remix terms where the default minting fee is 10 IP and the commercial rev share is 5%. And if we want, we can actually go ahead and look at these terms. You can see that transferable is true. This means we can transfer, if someone mints a license, they can transfer the license back and forth. The minting fee is set here. It doesn't expire. The person can commercialize it. They have to give us attribution though. And then the rev share, and there's some other terms as well. We can actually see here in the URI field, this is pretty cool, that if we go to this link, you'll see that this also includes extra fields, like for example, AI learning models, so that we can tell the licensee whether or not they're allowed to train their AI on it. So if OpenAI were to mint this license, in this case, they could not use this song to train their model, right? But going back to this original code, we set the commercial terms here, and then when we registered it, it appeared on our Explorer with those commercial terms right here. It has a 10 IP minting fee and a 5% rev share. And if we were to do this on mainnet, it would be live with a real license, and whether someone earned that revenue off chain or on chain, they would have to make that payment. So, for example, if someone sold this song a physical copy of it, they would still have to pay me that 5% rev share off chain, right? Or else I could take them to court and, dispute that. Or if they wanted to make that payment on chain, they could do that very easily on Story using Story's royalty module. And one thing I also want to show, which I think is really cool, is this diagram I've made where you can see that, let's say we have a bunch of IP assets that are all derivatives of each other. So for example, this yellow box is that song I just showed you. But the red box is, for example, that song with a little tweak to it, right? Maybe it's a little faster. And then this IP asset 3 is a song that's a little faster, but it's also, let's say it skips half the song, and it's only half the song, right? So we can see there's like this derivative chain. And so using Storage's royalty module, it makes payments very easy to pay back to original, ancestors, original creators. So if someone were to use that last song, let's say in a TikTok video, right? Let's say 100 IP was made as a payment, you can make that payment, and then it would go to that song, but it would also automatically pay back to the original songs that it derived from. So again, whether it's off-chain payment or on-chain payment, that license enforces you to share that commercial revenue, but you can utilize Story's royalty module to make that very easy on-chain. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.